Father D.S. Amalorpavadass was a central figure behind what is often called the Indian Liturgy movement. It was a major effort to renew Catholic worship in India after the Vatican II by making it authentically an Indian expression, while remaining fully Catholic in substance. Now this, I think, is a summary of what Amalor's Indian liturgy refers to. Father Amalorpavadass believed that Indian Christians should be able to worship God in a way that is deeply rooted in Indian culture, not simply a European transplant. Now his work implemented the Vatican II encouragement to adapt the liturgy to the genius and traditions of each culture, which definitely was adapted by various cultures, especially the Byzantine Rite. Now, some of the key elements of the Indian liturgy, which is 100% Amalor contribution, the use of Indian symbols and ritual forms, that is something which Amalor stressed. He introduced the lighting of the kuthuvilakku, which is the traditional Indian lamp. And instead of calling the divine liturgy, he called it puja. Then comes arati, which is lighting of the lamp for the gospel readings and for the altar. Then prostrations or namaskara gestures. Prostrations are used also in Byzantine liturgy. The use of flowers, incense, bowls, and some rangoli patterns. The basic thing is these expressed reverence in an Indian way without altering core doctrines. Because whenever you speak anything about the church, the first thing that comes to anyone's mind is the doctrines. Are we for doctrine or are we against the doctrine? Amalor also introduced Indian musical instruments, and he used Carnatic style, the Indian classical musical style chants, and indigenous ragas and for psalms and hymns. And he also used instruments like mridangam, tabla, veena, and tamburu, and so on, to give it an authentic Indian feel. Now his liturgical texts often used Indian imagery of light, water, earth, then guru-disciple relationship, etc. It drew parallels to the Upanishads and the classical Indian thoughts without syncretism. Amalor made worship meaningful in the local cultural context. Because like Rajarao says, we are Indians, we can only think like Indians. The Indian Mass of 1973, which was a revised version, was one of his most famous achievements. And it was also the guiding light, the creation of the Indian Eucharistic liturgy, approved and experimented by the Vatican for limited use in India. It included entrance with lamp lighting, invocation of the Holy Spirit using justiforms, then Indian offertory rites using flowers, rice, oil lamps, etc. And then the chanting of prayers in the Indian melodic modes. The final blessing with Indian style gestures was also an added attraction. Amalorpavadass, in many ways, was a pioneer. So NBCLC in Bangalore became the hub for all this. It was actually founded by him. Basically, this place was meant for liturgical research, training priests and catechists, and developing Indianized liturgical texts, music, and catechesis, etc. Now, almost every Indian diocese felt the influence of the NBCLC. But unfortunately, in 1990, Amalor passed away, and obviously the Indian liturgy actually came to a close. So sad.